Hi everyone, welcome back again to my YouTube channel. My name is Osereme. If today is your first time seeing me, thank you so much for being here. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys how to go about the cutting and sewing of this keyhole neckline with a heart shaped. So if this is something you're interested in, keep on watching and let's get started. This tutorial was inspired by this dress on Vicky James that has a heart shape yoke in front. So that's why I am making use of two different fabrics here. You can use one fabric if you don't want it to be two toned. So for the body part, I intend to use the Ankara that I have here, and for the upper part, I intend to use the red crepe fabric. Now, first, I'm going to go ahead and draw a straight line across my pattern paper so that we can draft out our half scale bodies. So this first line I draw across here now is going to be serving as the starting line. In this case, because this is a blouse, it's going to be the shoulder line. So now from this shoulder line, I'm going to measure down to my bust point. Shoulder to bust point for me is 10 inches. I'll mark it here. Still leaving the tape at the shoulder, I'll measure my shoulder to waist, which is at 16 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and draw straight lines across these points that I just drew. So this is the shoulder line here. This is the bust line, and then this is the waistline. So now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go in from the center here by 3 inches for our neck width, and then I'll also come down by 3 inches as well for the neck depth. I'm going to use my curve to connect these 2 points to give me a round neckline. Now from the center again, I'm going to measure half of my shoulder measurement. My shoulder measurement is 14 and half of that is 7. So from the center here, I'll go in by 7 and I'll make a point. And from that point, I'm going to come down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope. And I'm going to connect it into the top of my neckline. Now from the shoulder slope, I'm going to get my armhole depth. And for you to get your armhole depth, you're going to divide your bust measurement by 6 and add 1.5 to what you get. So when I do that calculation, mine is 7. So from the shoulder slope, I marked 7 inches. And I'm going to use that point to draw a straight line across. Now this new line I just drew is going to be my chest line. Let me take you back to a time. Now from the shoulder slope to my chest line, I'm going to just connect a straight line like this. And then I'm going to get the midpoint of this new line. So from the shoulder slope to the chest line, I'm going to just fold my tape here to give me the midpoint. Okay, so I'll mark it here. And then from this midpoint, I'm going to go in by half of an inch. And then on the chest line, I'm going to mark my bust measurement divided by 4. So go ahead and divide your bust measurement by 4 and mark it here. So now you're going to connect this, and this point, all three of them with your curve to give you your armhole. Now from the center, I'm going to go in on the bust line by half of my nipple to nipple measurement, and I also mark the same thing on the waistline. I'm going to connect these 2 points with my ruler to give me a straight line. What I'm trying to do here is to get my dart. So go ahead and divide your nipple to nipple measurement into 2 and mark it on the bust line and waistline. After that, go out on both sides of the line that you just drew by half of an inch. So from the half of an inch that you went out by on the waistline, connect to the top of the line that you drew before on the bust line, just like I'm doing here. So this is going to now give you your dart shape. So once you're done drawing out your dart, you're going to come back to the bust line and mark your bust measurement divided by 4. And on the waistline, you're going to mark your waist measurement divided by 4 here. And then you're going to have to measure your dart and replace it. So my dart is 1 inch, so I'll have to replace it back. And after that, I'm going to connect all the last points together to give me my body shape. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to create the heart shape in the middle of the front. So I'm going to be coming up from the bust line. This is the chest line here, right? Now from the bust line, I am going to be coming up by about 1 inch. This is where my heart shape is going to stop, okay? So it's going to start somewhere like this. So from this bust line, I'll go up by 3/4 of an inch. You can go up by 1 inch as well. So now from this 3/4 of an inch, I'm going to measure 4 inches, which is going to be the length of my whole heart shape. So from the top of the 4 inches point I just created, I'm using my biro to just create a heart shape very faintly first. Okay. So I'm doing it with my free hand because this is in a fold. So you're going to be creating like half of a heart, just one side of a heart shape. So if you're sure you will not be able to like get this with your free hand, you can use like a cardboard paper or any paper to first of all try to draw it out. Then before you now just transfer it into the area of the blouse that you want to place it on. But right now I've been able to do it with my free hand, as you can see, and now I'm tracing it out with my marker. Like I said, it should be half of a heart shape because this fabric is in a fold. When you open it up, it's going to be a full heart. Okay, so now I've drawn it out and I'm going to go ahead now and cut out the rest of the bodice. So I'll cut out the neckline and every other part of the bodice. So this is what I have. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is to get the middle of my heart. So I'm going to measure from here to here, and the middle of that is 2, right? I'll mark it here. And then at this 2 inches point, I'm going to go ahead and draw a straight line across. So this is where my yoke will now start from. So I'll just use my marker now to make it more visible. So from the heart, I'll just draw this area out. So the upper part of this area now will become our yoke. So once you're through with this, go ahead and cut off the heart shape, just like you see me doing like this. It's really very simple. And then after that, when you open it up, you can see it's a full heart. You have to cut out half of it because your fabric is in a fold, your paper is in a fold actually. So now I'm going to place it back and then cut through this place here. Okay, so that we have the yoke at the upper part, and then this other side is going to be the bodice. So I am going to be cutting them on my fabric now. So this will be cut on my ankara and this will be cut on my crepe. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it out and show you guys how I added allowances. So this is what I had after I was done cutting them out respectively. And you can see I added half an inch all the way around the yoke piece. And for the Ankara piece, I added half an inch to the top and bottom. And then for the side, I added 1.5 inch of stitching allowance. Another thing I did was to cut out double of each piece. So for the yoke piece, I cut out 2. And for the bodice as well, I cut out 2. So one is going to be serving as the actual fabric and the other part will be serving as the yoke. Despite the fact that they are both the same color. So now I have placed them together right sides facing each other. That's the yoke pieces as you see me doing like this. And I'm going ahead to pin around the neckline and around the heart shape underneath. I don't wanna play no games, baby. So I'll go ahead and stitch around the neckline and around this area with half of an inch stitching allowance. Now for the body part, I also went ahead to cut out 2 pieces as well. Now for the other part, you don't need to use the actual fabric again, but for the yoke, the both pieces has to be the same. But for the body part, it doesn't necessarily have to be the same. So I still use the actual fabric anyways here, but you can use a normal lining for the lining of this part. So I'm going ahead to pin down the V-shape area of my heart, just like you see me doing like this. So I'm going to stitch this area down on the sewing machine as well. So I'll stitch the heart and neckline of the yoke and then the V for the bodice. So this is what I had after I was done stitching down the areas I just pinned down. So now I'm going to go ahead and just trim off the excess allowances around the heart shape, around the neckline, and also around the African print bodies, just like you see me doing like this. So now once you're done trimming it off, we're going to turn it over to the right side, just like you see me doing like this. Okay, and then I'm also going to go ahead and turn the yoke area to the right side. So guys, I have turned it over, but the yoke area is not standing well because of the nature of the fabric. So I'm just going to go ahead and iron everything out so that I can bring out all the edges for it to have that heart shape and also the neckline. So I'm going to go over now and iron this piece out. So guys, I'm done ironing out the both pieces and you can see how the shape is now coming out. So now to join them together, you're going to pick the actual fabric and you're going to open up like this and then pick the yoke as well and open it up like this. So you're going to be joining them at that areas where they had the joining. You're going to notice that there's an area where there's a joining. So join them together exactly at that point, the yoke and the actual fabric, and then go ahead and pin it down. So you're pinning lining to lining and actual fabric to actual fabric. But because I'm using the same fabric for both lining and actual fabric here, so it's looking like it's the same thing. So now I'll pin the other side like this. So just go ahead and pin it straight. It's going to look straight. But at the end of the day, it's going to still have that heart shape when you're done with this. So just go ahead and pin the lining to lining and fabric to fabric, just like I'm doing like this. When you're done pinning it down, you can see what it's looking like right now. I'm here to stitch this down and it's looking like this. Okay, so I'm going to head over to the sewing machine now and stitch this area down with 1/2 inch stitching allowance. So guys, after I was done stitching it down, this is what I have on this side. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and cut off the excess allowance here so that it will lay very flat on the heart area. So this is what it's looking like. Okay, so this is what it is looking like right now. You can see what it looks like. So I'm going to do the exact same thing for this other side as well. So I'm going to open up the actual fabric like this and open up the yoke like this, pin them down from the areas where we had our joining here, and I'm going to continue to pin the both sides towards the ends like this. I'll pin towards the side and towards the other side as well. So now I'm going to stitch this area down with 1/2 inch as well. And then I'll cut off the excesses and align it. You can see what it's already looking like. When I'm done, it's going to look even better when I'm done stitching it down and ironing it in place. So guys, this is what I had after I was done stitching down this other side as well. You can see I went ahead to cut off the excess and then ironed it out. This is what the wrong side is looking like. So it's very simple actually. It's just the method of stitching it down that is quite different from every other yoke. So that's all for the making of this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you find it helpful. If you are still yet to subscribe to my channel, please hit on the subscribe button and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.